M7 and a Leica MP for today's photography talk. Okay, there's a reason why I picked up the Leica M7. It's the very few Leicas that actually run in aperture priority mode. So if you don't want to actually expose manually all the time, you can cut corners by shooting aperture priority mode, so in auto. So the only thing you can do or focus on just shooting what aperture setting you want to shoot on during street photography. So you can set it f2, f2.8, f4 and so on, and just let it run auto and just wind the shutter and fire away. So it takes, so you don't have to focus and work so hard and just enjoy simple photography. So the M7's been discontinued, and since being discontinued I've noticed that the prices have increased. So to the lucky few that did pick up an M7, you've really made a nice investment choice. The differences with the M7 and say an MP, the number one, aperture priority mode. The MP is a full manual camera. M7 has a lot more electronic features. If the battery is to fail, you can only use it with a couple of shutter speeds, and 1/25th of a second and 60th of a second manually, and you can see the white line that indicates here on the dial. Another neat feature about this camera is your flash sync speed, so you can shoot flash. Off the top of my brain, it's 1/25th of a second, 2/50th of a second, and 1,000th of a second high speed flash sync. And here you can see the contacts for your camera flash, and you can have a look and see the difference between that and the MP. So here's the MP hot shoe. The other differences with the M7 and MP, the MP has a smaller dial, and the shutter winder is different. So you leave your camera off and then you turn it on. The finish is different with this camera. The MP has it's more like a gloss black. This particular M7 is a matte black. It's not glossy. I prefer the look. It looks really pretty. You'll be noticing that this M7 is a bit different from other M7s, and the reason is because this one is a Japan edition, so it's quite special. It has it's been etched into the top of the camera here. You'll see the engraving. It's a little bit different. So Leica camera, AG, Germany. The MP is slightly different. Just here, the Leica's put to the left, but dead center. So which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Leica just there, or do you prefer it with the extra lettering? So some people aren't a huge fan of the M7 when it comes to the winder, because of the way they're just so used to the M3 or the older versions. I don't mind it. It's pretty neat. You can just rub your thumb across, hit the switch. Let's turn it on. That's on. There we go. And then it's ready to go. It's been cocked. The thing is locked. I don't want to press the shutter because I think I've got film in there. Film dial reading, there's been 2 shots taken. The MP, the same thing, 2 shots taken. The other difference, you can see that this is all chrome, and this one's blacked out, which I prefer, a bit more stealthy. And you do have the Leica company logo with the signature red dot on the M7. Some people cover this up with some black tape. I've kept it as is. This one does come with a 0.72 viewfinder. This one is the same, 0.72 in the viewfinder. Yeah, see no Leica red dot on the front, just the typical signature screw for the MP. What else is different? You can see the lens release button. It's just flat. The other on the MP, it's got a looks like a flathead screw slot. Let's bring it over. And the same with the change of viewfinder readings or your frame lines. This is to change your frame lines, and on the M7 it's plastic. I think I prefer the MP. Yeah, your rewind switch winds down, which I should check. I should check if there's film in the camera. And there's the MP. Battery's different. So on the M7, so unscrew it, just pops out. As with the MP, it unscrews and takes two batteries. And the rear of the cap has a mould of the battery shape, so you can just place it straight on top. I'll look it upside down. It is fiddly. That's where I'm failing. There we go, clicked it back in. So on this lens is the 35mm Summicron. Opens up to f2 and closes all the way down to f16. That's the lens hood. It's all plastic, by the way, and it's a rubberized plastic on for the cap. I do generally keep filters on all my lenses just to protect the front glass element. It's very short, see. On the MP we have a 50mm Summicron. Opens up to f2 and closes down to f16. I tend to stick with the Summicron range. It's in the mid-range pricing. I can't justify spending, 10,000 plus on the other lenses. On the back of the camera, this is where it gets interesting. So your ISO dial, MP, it doesn't say it, so no electronic features. And the beauty of the features on the M7, it has a film reader for DX, so you can put what film speed into the camera, or you can adjust it that way, or you just leave it as the DX and let the camera do the work. And then you can do +1, +2, or -1, -2 for exposure. So predominantly with film, I actually like to overexpose by +1. So if you want to overexpose by +1, you just dial it, press down. It's very difficult to move, and then there you go, your +1 for your reading when you shoot your film. Okay, so and then on both cameras, so M7 here, the film winder's on an angle here. I prefer the MP version. To open the camera, it's the same for both of them. You pop the tab out, and then as soon as you turn the dial, this bottom pops open. I don't want to do it because I believe I've got film in the camera, and I'll do another episode of loading the film. So what else is there? You can see that the lever insert is different on the M7. It's more coarse, and it's finessed. It's a more finessed lever on the MP. Which one do you prefer? That's the thing. That's probably the hardest decision you'll make, is deciding on which MP to get. You can start off with an M6. Or the M6 with TTL, which costs a little bit more. MP is a camera that no doubt you could have for your entire life. That's why I did purchase one, knowing that I've got a film camera. If I ever want to shoot film 5 years down the track, I can just load film straight into this and use it. The M7 probably could be one of those questionable things. Will it last? Historically, Leica are very good at servicing their cameras, and knowing that service is there provided, that probably instills confidence in owning an M7. And yeah, and then the same with the MP. You hear stories where, cameras that are well and truly been around and they've had a full overhaul and they make them new again. So they're pretty much there. They're like a Swiss watch. Yes, they're pricey, but they're one of the most enjoyable film cameras you could ever use. And yeah, the lenses are superb. I'll go back and take a lens. Let's take the 50mm off. Here's the rear of the lens. This here is for digital reading on the new M's. So when you attach your lens, it says when a 50mm is attached. Signature M mount. Made in Germany. Put that back on. So there you go. Leica MP and the famous M7. Well, they're both famous cameras. Let me know in the comments below what's your favourite camera. And I'll put some photos up too, I think. Okay guys, thanks for watching. That's a little bit about both these cameras. Bye.